Okay, so Cetro's actually finally posted something retaining, or that might retain, to the re-release of Type Soul. Not too long ago, a couple hours ago, he actually posted tomorrow inside of the Discord server. And if you don't remember, Cetro did say he kind of wants to do a trailer before release. So if we're going to be getting a trailer or information on the release, let's just assume Type Soul's going to release next weekend, because Cetro did say he wants to release Type Soul in July, and July is coming to an end. July is coming to an end. We're almost in August. Summer is almost completely over. So Type Soul should be coming next weekend. Maybe. Now, I do remember Balboa actually posting a video saying Cetro was delaying on purpose. I don't know how true or not true that is, but I'm just going to assume Fullbringers wasn't or isn't done. I do remember Cetro saying, or Balboa saying something along the lines of Cetro wants to release this game with Fullbringers completed. So I'm assuming Fullbringers is either nearing its completion now or it's done and they're preparing for the release. Is anything ever really done in Type Soul? Honestly, God knows. However, over the past couple of days, YouTubers have actually been talking and expressing how they feel about the upcoming Hellverse update, and I'm genuinely going to be doing that as well, because there's actually a lot of things to break down, discuss, and is everything even going to be worth it? I mean, we're all going to be playing Type Soul regardless, right? Let's be so honest. There's not too much to do other than like Roblox. So we're all going to be playing Type Soul. Let's be honest. However, are these changes even good? Is the update going to be good? Let's actually break it down, get into it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's do this. Now, let's actually be so blatantly honest. Cetro is an evil ass motherfucker, and I'm not blurring that out. Now, is evil over exaggerated? I guess you can say that. Let's call it strategic. He's strategic. Let's call it predatory, because this is predatory practices. Now, you're probably going to ask, Agz, how is this predatory? Cetro and the dev team know exactly what they're doing with this Hellverse update and exactly why or how this is predatory. Let's actually go into it. Now, we obviously know you're going to be able to wipe in Hell. Hell is permadeath. It's a permadeath instance. There's going to be other mobs that are going to be in the Hellverse that are going to be trying to kill you, and we all know the PvE in this game is trash, so I guarantee you're going to die at least once to these new mobs. We don't know their attack pattern, and there are going to be other players that are most likely going to be able to engage in combat with you if they choose to and wipe your character slot. Again, that is pretty crazy. Now, how is Cetro predatory? The wipe system. The wipe system is terrible. First of all, Type Soul does not need permadeath. The reason why Type Soul was Type Soul, the reason why Type Soul flourished, is because it wasn't permadeath. Dying in Type Soul, you would already lose enough. This game never needed a permadeath. Not every parry game should just implement permadeath and call it a day. It's actually annoying. However, that's me straying off topic. Let's get back on topic. How's the wipe system predatory? Now, once you wipe in Hell, once you die in Hell, there's going to be a system where you actually fight a cloned version of your character, and if you win, you get sent back into the game. Your character lives. How's this predatory? Now, every single time you get killed in Hell or you get quote-unquote wiped, you have to fight more versions of yourself, and these versions of yourself actually mimic you. If you run inside there and fight it with your katana, it's going to use the katana. If you pop your Shikai, it will pop its Shikai. If you use Visored, it will use Visored, and if you so on and so forth. True Bankai, etc. Now, every single time you die, you need to fight one more version of yourself. So you're most likely going to beat the original version of yourself. It's just you versus you 1v1. Can't be that terrible. Yes, this game's UI, yes, Type Soul's AI is terrible, but I do think you guys should be able to defeat yourself one, right? Now, the second, third, and fourth time is honestly where it starts to get a little bit hectic. Fighting 4 fully built versions of yourself, and you know, once you get close to death, you're gonna pop your Bankai to get your health back. But that would also mean all 4 of the clones are also going to pop their Bankai. You're not surviving that. You're not surviving that. And let's be honest, this is so, it's smart, it's strategic on Cetro's part, but it's predatory. Now, you're going to have the players that die. There's going to be a lot of people that die. You either going to have to pay, God knows how much Robux is going to cost to revive. I'm just going to assume it's anywhere between 800 to 1,000 Robux. If it's any more than 1,000 Robux. Oh my gosh, Cetro booming, you are a swindler. You are a swindler. But I'm assuming it's going to be either 800 or 1,000 Robux, because that's usually how this stuff goes. It's usually those prices to restore your wiped character. Or if you don't have the Robux, because as you know, a lot of people are free to play players, you're gonna have to wipe and start all over again. And the thing is, with Type Soul's progression, it actually takes long and it's super tedious. Nobody wants to get all 10 fragments again to pop Visor, then do the Visor quest and then get True Visor. Nobody wants to do that all over again. Nobody wants to fight the Bankais again. Shikais is fine, but fighting your Bankai all over again, and God forbid you got True Bankai. God forbid you unlocked True Bankai. I don't think people are going to be getting True Bankai left, right, and center. Not only is that information going to get gatekept, but Cetro did say it's going to be as hard as it was getting Bankai in OG Type Soul. If you remember OG Type Soul, you know you were grinding upwards of 12 to 20 hours plus to even contend, to even do the first step for Bankai. So imagine, we're not talking about getting Bankai, we're talking about first step Bankai, 12 to 20 hours plus. So imagine how long it's going to take to get True Bankai if Cetro's word is true, and it's just as hard, if not harder, than OG Type Soul. But I digress. You're going to have the players that are forced to spend money, steal their parents' bank cards, or just drop a bag. A lot of people have the bag to drop, but this means Cetro's consistently going to be getting money. Without a doubt, nobody's going to let the build they've spent 200 hours plus just get wiped and they have to grind all over again. People will drop that bag. And remember, a lot of these builds people are going to be taken to hell to obtain True Bankai are going to be fully progressed builds, whether you have whether you have like really rare items or spec items on it, or whatever the case may be. I don't even remember what they're called, the ability stuff. No one's going to want to regrind all of those stuff, so a lot of people will drop that bag, and this is just going to be a consistent form of money that the developers will be getting. Type Soul already made them rich. The Hellverse update is going to make them 10 times richer with the amount of restoring people are going to be doing. And then you're gonna have the players that genuinely have no choice. I'm talking about, there are some people who genuinely aren't able to generate the money, and this is me looking out. There are going to be people who genuinely cannot generate the money to restore their characters, so the only two options at that point is to completely quit Type Soul or reset their character and grind. And with the state Roblox is in at the moment, there are not much games to play, so not too many people are going to die and then just completely drop Type Soul. There will be some. I know a lot of people are not going to tolerate being forced to spend their money. It's not a choice at that point. You're being forced to. You're giving an ultimatum here. And that is where it gets greedy. That's where the evilness comes in. That's where the predatory practices comes in. You're giving your players an ultimatum. You either have to wipe and grind another 200 hours to max out your build again, or you spend money, and you don't have a choice between that. There's no options. You're giving your player base zero option. And yes, whether you believe it or not, this is a predatory practice. Cetro booming is evil. The Type Soul development team know exactly what they're doing with this Hell update, and I guarantee you guys, with Type Soul's terrible AI, the Hell mobs are going to wipe, if not another player that just wants to be evil and see people cry. Literally, if people have cried over Type Soul, this is going to be that times a million. So just beware. Type Soul is coming back, and it's not coming back better. It's just going to follow the same cycle. And remember, if people are going to be mass quitting because they don't want to spend money to regrind their characters, or they don't want to spend money to revive their characters, or nobody wants to regrind their characters, people are eventually going to quit again. Type Souls is going to go through the same vicious cycle it went through before, where players just end up quitting. The game will go down in numbers eventually. Don't get it twisted. People are going to be grinding Fullbringers, and I will be doing that too. Grinding Fullbringers, grinding the new transformations, and figuring out the new content. But 2, 3, 4 months down the line, when people have figured everything out, have obtained the majority of the things, or maybe they haven't because going to hell is actually just too too risky and nobody wants to wipe their main builds, well, when the joy of spamming world calamity, world breaking abilities for PvP gets boring and frustrating because there's zero balancing and giant abilities being spammed because there's no way to actually parry or dodge them efficiently without being a hacker, people will get bored again. Type Soul will end up closing again, and this might be Type Soul's last chance. There won't be another re-release, and if there is, I don't think people are going to be there for it. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? Type Soul's only closed 3-4 times before. We'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you guys think. Oh wait, hold on, do you guys remember Arankas are losing their abilities? You only have one ability as a Aranka now. That's tough, but honestly I don't care. I'm not using Aranka. Let me see you guys in the next one. Peace.